feel very mellow right now.
Today's video is going to be on BOYNEXTDOOR. I don't know much about this group, but I've been seeing them quite a few times on my YouTube page, so let's get into it. Let's get into it with what do fans need to know.
We have adventure, we have patience, we have peace, and we have let loose.
Okay, what do fans need to know about them currently? I feel like for them, they're at peace. First of all, they're at peace with where they're at. They're at peace with the attraction they've gained so far. But I think they're definitely waiting on their big moment for sure. Like that moment that's going to really set them up for more eyes to view them, if that makes sense. And I think for them, they're viewing it as a journey for sure. It's like a come up story for them. Like that's what they're viewing their journey as. I feel like for them, they've been waiting on a more viral moment so that they can really get in there for most people, reach a more broader audience for people. And they're okay with where they're at currently. They're happy with where they're at currently. They're happy with the amount of fans they have currently, but they're definitely waiting on that big viral moment that's going to have them reach a broader audience. Like I said, they're viewing it as an adventure. So for them, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. I think they're definitely enjoying their journey as it's coming to them, but they're ready for bigger eyes, you know? I feel like they viewed the first couple of years as like a trial run to get used to everything, you know, but now they're starting to be more authentic. I feel like you're gonna start seeing their personalities way more on camera now because they're more used to it now. With let loose, that's what I was saying, like they're kind of starting to begin to be more authentic to who they truly are, and they're starting to show themselves off a bit more. You're going to see, like outside of their group concept, you're going to start seeing their true personality shining through. Yeah. Oh, look at these rabbits. Rabbits represent luck, prosperity, hope, renewal. With peace, I feel like they've made peace with where they are. They've made peace with what they do have. Like they're grateful. They're happy with what they do have. But, you know, there's always going to be that drive for more for them. I think also I do have my little cubes out and I shake them up and I like get more energies on them so that'll help aid me in the reading. And for me, they come off as kind of flirtatious. They're very flirtatious people, but they're very grateful. I don't think anybody takes them seriously. They don't make people uncomfortable. That's not what they're trying to do. But I also feel like they're very competitive. They're hard workers, very social creatures. So they definitely know how to set themselves up and present themselves in public. They're very charming to others as well. We have 2 W's and W means win, you know, so we're definitely about that win. They have a lot of jokes. They're very they're very not serious, if that makes sense. I'm not saying they're not serious about their job, but I'm just saying like they're not serious as in they know how to take a joke. They like joking around, that kind of thing. With this train right here, to me that tells me that they are going to get the recognition that they're looking for. It's going to come in time because, you know, trains, they start off slow. They're not necessarily the fastest form of travel for people these days, but they'll get you to point A to point B. It's just a whole journey that's going to get you there, you know? They're very free. I feel like they're very, like, authentic now, too. I don't think they feel very limited by the rules that are in place for them or their own situation. They don't view it that way. They don't feel very limited by it. Bottom of the deck energy, we have gratitude, we have create your reality, and we have power. So to me, they definitely manifest every day, you know, having a bigger fan base. They manifest that every day. And one of the ways they do that is by being grateful for what they have first, being content for what they have first, and then just basically building on that. With create reality is like, for them, they have a certain mindset that kind of sets them up for being receptive to more, if that makes sense. Their mindset is not ungrateful in any way. It's very much gracious, and it's like, it's full of gratitude for what they have, what they do have, and that really opens their energy up to get more. Because if the universe sees that you're content with where you are, they're going to gift you with more so that you can be even more happy, fortunate, you know? Fortunate, maybe that's the word. I feel like they have a lot of fun too. They have a lot of fun. I think they zen out quite a bit too. Like when the cameras come off and they don't have anything else to do, I feel like they definitely zen out. I don't think they do that in solitude necessarily. I feel like they all hang out, but it's not very extroverted. They do like very introverted tasks. Play games. Play games, chill, listen to music, that kind of thing. Now, we are going to get into group dynamics, what makes the group work. We're also going to get into personality types. I didn't pull them based on the energy of the individual. I just pulled 6 cards on the personalities to kind of like see where it goes. So if it rings true for you guys about whose personality is who, that is great, because I don't know.
We have the 4 of Swords. We have the Lovers, the Knight of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, and the Page of Wands. And then for personality, we have Mirror, Moon, Sun, Spider, Fairy, and Potion.
When I first started reading tarot, I read the 7 of Pentacles very differently than what I read it as now. 7 of Pentacles to me now means like patience, if that makes sense. It's like waiting on the fruits of your labor, almost. Anyways, that was my little side tangent. Okay, group dynamic. They are very, I'm going to tell you, they're very different in public with each other than they are behind the scenes. And what I mean by that, I think in public, they come off as more vibrant, more rambunctious, more extroverted than they do when they're in private with one another. When they're in private with one another, it's more of a calm, chill kind of energy. Everybody's kind of mellow. But in public, they really play it up a bit so that they're more, you know? They're more like bubbly almost. They're more bubbly, more excitable than they are like in private. With the Page of Wands, I definitely feel like their group dynamic still has a ways to go. Like they're still discovering each other, but the point that they are right now, they feel very comfortable, very familiar with one another, if that makes sense. I do feel like as a group, that's what that waiting, with the patience, that waiting card is. As a group, I feel like they're all on the same page when it comes to that. They're definitely waiting on more to come to them than what it is right now. But they're on the same page when it comes to one another. I think to other people, they might come off as flirts. Very romantic. I feel like they're all very romantic, if that makes sense. And that might not even be in the sense of like partners. That could just be like they're very romantic, as in like I heard like they go on little dates with each other, like they make each other feel good, if that makes sense. Not in a weird way, but like they do things for each other. They're very romantic. I feel like they might all have a similar love language, or they all kind of fall into alignment with each other when it comes to like how they express themselves to each other. They feel very familiar with each other. They feel like they're fun. They feel like they find each other fun. They find each other cool. There's like different things about each other that they really gravitate towards, and they feel like as a group, all these things play a part in their overall dynamic, if that makes sense. like especially the Ten of Pentacles. I feel like they're on their way to viewing each other as family almost too. Like, I think they take care of each other, they watch out for each other, they make sure each other's good. Their line will always be open for one another. I think they're flirts. Like, because I have the Lovers card and the Knight of Cups right next to each other. They feel very much like flirts. But they have fun together. They have a lot of fun together. They might go on little nightly adventures. They might drink together too. One of their favorite activities to do together is drink together, because like that Knight of Cups right there is really telling me like they have some fun. They have some stories, bro. They have some stories. With the Lovers card, I feel like they all feel united on the same front when it comes to where they want to be, where they see themselves, how they act. They're satisfied. They're very much satisfied. They're united. They're satisfied. That's crazy. We have the moon and the sun right here. So the moon, somebody here is very magnetic. They're very mesmerizing, very magnetic. They might come off as like mysterious to other people, but like for sure they have like a kind of mysterious vibe. But something about them pulls people in. Something about them definitely pulls people in. And it's in a quiet, like almost understated way, but it's very smooth. I'd describe that person as very smooth. They very smooth. They come off as very smooth. Like even the energy like has slowed down a bit while I'm like focusing on this card. Versus this person who's the sun, this is like the more like extroverted kind of person. They're probably the first ones to talk to people, do something crazy in public, something random, and like not care. This person doesn't care about like how other people view them really, because they're just being themselves in their own little lane, and they're fine with that. They're like passionate, they get excitable, they're like, ooh, you know, like, ooh, you know. They might be very loud. They might be very loud, a very loud person. Or other people consider them very loud. These two, they have a funny dynamic with each other. They're like, they might get on each other's nerves, but they find them funny most of the time. They play a really big part in the overall group dynamic too, if that makes sense. Then we have the Mirror. So this is the person, they're like, their energy projects onto the group, if that makes sense. So if they're in a good mood, then everybody's in a good mood. And if they're in a not so fun mood, then the vibes are kind of off for everybody, if that makes sense. It's like they're the mood maker. They're the mood maker. So very crucial role as well. Oh, they all, I wish I could explain, like, I wish I could show you and, like, explain the energy that I'm feeling from these cards. Let's just say, like, everybody has their own little role. Then we have the more airy person with this fairy. Like, with this fairy card, they're more airy. They say some whimsical stuff sometimes that everybody, like, kind of side-eyes them about. But, like, overall, people find them funny. Because they're like, they'll say something crazy and wild out of like left field, and then everybody's like, bro, what? And then they'll just start laughing like, what does that even mean? Like, you know, they're kind of unpredictable in that way, but people really enjoy this person's company. People really enjoy this person's company. And then we have the Potion and we have the Spider. Ooh. So the Potion, this person's magnetic, but they're magnetic in a different way. There's something very energizing about them, if that makes sense. Very alchemizing about them. This is somebody who's very capable. They're good at a lot of stuff. Like, they have a lot of skills, a lot of hobbies. They're good at a lot of things. They know a lot of information. And like, I don't even know if people know that. Like, I don't even know if people know that. But this might be someone who, like, is always winning games. And everybody's like, bro, you won again? Really? Like, they seem very good at everything. Suave. I heard suave. Yeah. Oh, this person's a slow talker. This moon card, whoever this is, they're a slow talker. They talk very slow. But, and then to them, they're not even doing it on purpose. They might have a very deep voice, too. Not a very deep voice, but they might have a deep voice. This person's very suave. They say the right things. if that makes sense. They always say the right things to people. They can make people swoon. With the spider, ooh, this is a very complicated person. This person might be very, like, contradictory, if that makes sense. It's hard to kind of figure them out. Very complicated, hard to figure them out, but I don't even know how to describe that. Hold on. Very contradictory, but they also, there's something about them that people are like very pulled into, if that makes sense. This is somebody who your first impression is not the same, is not going to be the same as how you feel about them once you know them a couple months later. Like, your first impression is not going to be the same as you know them now. But still, they're very comforting. But they might have like a good switch up, if that makes sense. And the way that I mean that is, like, you know when people have duality and they're like, they look cute on the outside and then they get on stage and then you're like, whoa, who is this person? That's the kind of energy they have. This person right here, they're very, they have a lot of ideas. I don't think everybody agrees with every single one of them, but they have a lot of ideas and they're very creative, and they'll put something out there that people are like, you know what, that might work, and they might all just like fall in line with that. This person might be everybody's like intro member, or not everybody's, but a good amount of people's intro member, if that makes sense. Like, you're the member that introduced me to the group. I've seen your clip first before I seen anybody else's, and that's what made me more curious. They're the face. They're the face, almost. Okay, so let's, bottom of the deck. We have the Page of Pentacles, King of Cups, and the Judgment. This Judgment card is telling me something about the group concept. That's what I'm feeling like. It's like, ooh, it's a very interesting concept that, I don't know if you guys see it. It might be a little hard to see, but it is there. The overall underlying message of the group is very interesting, and it definitely fits into the bigger picture. I don't know how to say that, like, the bigger picture. It very much fits into the bigger picture. It's an interesting idea, and it fits into the bigger picture. King of Cups. Ooh, that's interesting. So we might get a switch up at some point, but it's in the sake of maturing with the audience, if that makes sense. Yes. Okay. Then we have the King of Cups. I'd say, as people, they're all emotionally mature, if that makes sense. Like, everybody has their little habits, they have their little, but they're quirks. But I feel like they're all very emotionally mature. I feel like this is the type of people, they will have a deep conversation about whatever's bothering them and it not blow up into something crazy, if that makes sense. They're very mellow individuals. And then we have the Page of Pentacles, which is like the beginner mindset, dependable. Beginning mindset and dependable. So there's something about each other that they find very dependable. They can always count on each other, but it's also like they all share that same beginner mindset. I feel like for them, they wouldn't even call themselves seasoned idols or that they've been here a while. They'd say they're still pretty new, which is good to see. As far as like, it's like almost like attraction, if that makes sense. If you know that you are looking for something, then as long as you have that as long as you're not looking at something through a mindset of, oh, I already know this, you will keep attracting more information, more things, more situations, more events, if that makes sense. I'm excited to see how everybody kind of matures, if that makes sense. I wonder if they'll be the same people, I wonder if they'll have the same personalities they do now in the future. Because that's very interesting. I think because of how they portray themselves in public, maybe their personality doesn't always shine through. I do feel like that's getting better, but I feel like people might misunderstand them based on the overall, this is the vibe of the group. Like, if you're not watching content on them and you're not getting to know them as a group, then your first impression of them is going to be kind of lackluster, if that makes sense. It's going to be kind of, oh, that's cool, and then you're gonna move on. This is somebody, like, this is a group where you have to really, like, get into them in order to see it, if that makes sense. There's a lot that goes into them as a group. I think they're more interesting, they're more catching than what meets the eye. They're not just your boring, basic, bubbly pop kind of group. And I think people miss out on seeing that when you're not getting invested in them, getting to know them. For the last topic of today, we're going to get into management, their intentions, their vision, blah, 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 etc. And then we're going to get into the public perception of them.
Okay, for management, we have the Three of Cups. We have the Queen of Wands, King of Swords, Four of Pentacles, Five of Swords, and the Six of Swords. Public perception, we have the Three of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, Seven of Wands, King of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups.
On management side, there's a time period, maybe after like a year, like the first year, they were like, maybe we should scrap this group because they weren't getting the recognition that they were looking for. And that really created a conflict for them. But I feel like their view has since changed on them. I feel like they're starting to pick up the traction that they were hoping they would get. So they're starting to put more time and energy and effort into them. They do hold this group near and dear, for sure. I feel like they treat them pretty well, I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say like I know totally what's going on behind the scenes, really, but I feel like they treat them pretty well for a K-pop group of their size. What? That sounds so awful, but the bigger the group, the better the treatment most of the time. So they treat this group pretty fairly for their size. That's how they consider it. They're starting to pick up the traction that they want to see. So they're going to start putting more time, effort, and energy into them. I do feel like they have some very strategic moves for them. I think we might, like I said earlier, I think we might get a little switch up for them. So that they can reach more of an audience than what they have now. And I feel like they're making plans on that right now. I feel like they might start, or they were operating on a base of like following trends almost, and we're gonna keep seeing that because that's just how K-pop works in general. But I feel like we're going to start seeing a more unique approach to them, rather than just following trends. I feel like there's going to be a bit more thought that goes into them rather than being an afterthought, because I think they're starting to get the charm of the group. They're starting to figure out exactly where they want this to be, if that makes sense. Where they want this to go, where they want this to be. They're starting to get more of a vision of them than what their initial concept was when they first put out the group. I think they're also going to start pouring more finances into them. I think they might have been holding back on certain things, on certain comebacks, on certain stages, on certain things, on those kinds of levels, because of how little they considered the profit to be. But I feel like now that they're going to start seeing more of a profit in them, they're going to start dishing out a bit more money. But I also feel like on management side of things, I don't know what company owns them, but they might be a bit more of penny pinchers than other groups. Like, let's say like the big three, they might be more penny pinchers. So that's what was going into this. It's like not without struggle were they not putting energy and time and effort into this. It's just they weren't making the profit that they needed in order to put into this group like that. But I feel like they're starting to see more, so they're going to do more. They're starting to see a change in the tide. They're starting to feel a change in the tide, and because of that, they're going to start putting in more. It's coming. Something's coming. It's coming. They started off as 5 of Swords, but now they're at 6 of Swords. They feel more secure in their investment now. Public perception of them. Those that really like them, those that really mess with them. Like, those that really F with them, bro. If that makes sense. Like, there's like the true fan base, and then there's like the casuals. And the true fan base really mess with them like that, you know? Those are the people that are really farming the content about them, getting them out there a bit more. I see, like, for their fan base, they want more people to see them too. They hold them near and dear. They want more people to see them too. They're going to start putting more content out so that more people can see their personalities, get into them, you know? Because what is a group without their fandom? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to start seeing more of a fandom. I feel like the fandom itself faces challenges with this group, as in, like, their reach, it's not reaching everybody. That's where a lot of the challenge comes in. Is like they're not reaching enough people, and they wish that would change. Because they know once they start getting the recognition that they deserve, it'll be a bit more smooth sailing for them. I'd say this is they're starting to begin to be a pretty active fan base for this group. So this group has a very interesting dynamic with their fans. I feel like maybe they might flirt with their fans quite a bit, but most of all, I feel like they have a very nice relationship with their fans. Fans see a bigger potential in them than what they currently have, and they're trying to figure out exactly how to get them there. I do feel like their fandom is steadily growing though. 3 of Pentacles is like productivity, so they're very much out there voting, doing all this stuff so that they can put them in a position they can do more, be seen by more people.
Damn, we got a lot of queens here. Look at these queens. Look at these personality cards.
Though I do feel like this is a very chill fan base, I also feel like if this is the group you stand, bro, you standing with them, bro. Like, that's my man. That's my man. Yeah, I'm sticking with him. That kind of thing. Somebody speaks against them, then they all kind of like rally together, and they're like, hey, watch your mouth. Like, that kind of vibe. They're a very passionate fan base, I think. Very romantic fan base. Like, it might not seem revolutionary to other people, because like I did listen to quite a few of their songs when doing research for this group, and I was just like, yeah, this is like easily palatable music. It's not too uppity to anything. This is like something that I would put on in the background while I'm driving somewhere, and I'd be fine with that. Like, I wouldn't skip anything, whatever, you know. It's easily palatable. I think for them, they see it a bit differently. But there's an appeal in that to them. That's what it is. It's like the fans, it's like that's what appeals to them. It's like they're not trying to do too much. They're not trying to be too flashy. They're just them. They're just there. Something about that really strikes a chord with people. Knight of Cups, I'm also feeling like there's something that's dropping the ball for public perception on them. Something that's falling a bit short for them. something that doesn't keep people engaged something that doesn't keep people engaged as much as it should about them. I don't know if it's long breaks, I don't know if it's this or that or another, but something about it is dropping the ball for public perception on them. Fans could be wanting and looking for something different than what the company is giving them at the moment. And I hope this gap is met, because that's going to make or break them, if that makes sense. I heard locations, something about locations. I don't know if that's in relation to this card, because I was kind of focused on this card, and I thought that, like, locations, resources, locations, something. I don't know what that means. I feel like people that listen to this group are kind of like prettier people. I don't know why I thought that. But something about the appearance of the people that listen to this group. Okay, whatever. I don't know what that means, but I was told to say that. Don't come for me. Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups. Something about this fan base is always ready for more. Always ready for more. Like, I don't think they overly put out things to buy into, and that's one of the appeals for them as a group, for their fans. They don't overly put out things, so like they have time in between to like get their finance, get everything in order so that they can show more support. There might be a lot of teenagers, like that's the fan base, like a lot of teenagers at work. What is happening? Why is this so practical? Anyways, there might be a lot of teenagers. Something about the age group for these people. Like, they get a lot of younger people, like middle schoolers to like beginning, middle, high school. That's what I'm getting. They're kind of young, but not too young. I'd say they're like young adult kind of vibes. Like, not quite adults, so getting ready to be adults. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why that's coming out, honestly. What? Honestly, what? Okay, and then for bottom of the deck of the management team, they're gonna have to switch it up. Something about it, they're coming to the conclusion they're gonna have to switch something up if they want to get the results that they're looking for. They come to the conclusion they have to pour more into the group in order to get the results that they're looking for now. There's gonna be more into them now, because they realize, like, what we're doing right now, the effort we're putting into, the lack of effort we're putting into it, it's not gonna get us anywhere. So we need to put more effort into this, or else it's not gonna turn out. We're not gonna make good on the investment. All right, so we have come to the end of this reading on Boys Next Door. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope there were some good messages. I hope I was on base here. I feel like I was, but because I'm usually not, but I'm usually not on base. But, you know, this being a group that I'm not really familiar with, it always makes me a little nervous. But then I just trust in my own capabilities. I'm like, yeah, no, I got this. So I hope some of this like rang true for you guys, you fans who are watching this video. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed it. They seem very chill. My energy seems very chill. I feel very mellow right now. Like, bro, even my voice feels mellow right now. So yeah, I think the next video we'll do is either going to be on Rise or Zero Base 1. I think you guys have noticed, like, I think for me, in order to keep up with filming and stuff, I'm going to do every other week rather than every week. And then my day of posting is going to be on Thursday. And I feel like this works out a bit better for me because energy-wise, like, I work all the freaking time, bro. I work so hard. But, you know, trying to find the time for filming is what's the block right now. But right now, I feel pretty good. I feel like if I keep to that schedule of every other week and keeping on Thursdays, I have more off days in between. So we should be good. I hope you guys have a good night, morning, evening. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.